We are at the Oshawa Curling Club semifinals coming up. And we welcome you inside the Oshawa Curling Club. My name is Matthew Hall. Beside me in the broadcast booth, once again, Tori Zemelink. And Tori, the pressure is mounting here on all of these teams. 4 teams remain on both the U21 men's and women's sides, all fighting for that chance to represent Canada in Basel, Switzerland at the Swiss Cup. It's a clean road to the final for all of us to keep track of. All the teams remaining are eligible to represent Canada and have declared that they will go on the trip to Switzerland if they are lucky enough to win this tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a battle out there, Matt. All these teams proving that they are the top teams here at this event, so it should be a good one.
And speaking of, it's time to meet the teams here in our feature matchup. We are featuring the U21 women's semifinal, throwing the yellow stones. The lead is Megan Fortin, second, Megan Lafrance, third, Emmy Lafrance, and the skip, Julien Fortin. Matching up against them, throwing the red stones, the lead, Claire Desanayaka, second, Scotia Maltman, the third, Brooklyn Idison, and the skip is Dominic Vivier. Taking a look at the road to this semifinal matchup for both teams, it was a strong event for Team Vivier, finishing with a 3-1 record, and they finished it off with a very impressive win, 8-0 over Caitlin Langford in their quarterfinal matchup. Whereas on the other side, Team Fortin, maybe a little bit more back and forth in this one. 2-2 record in the round robin, but bounced back with a very nice 5-3 win over the team here from Switzerland, a strong team from Switzerland in the quarterfinals. So both teams should be very excited for the semifinal matchup here.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that both teams here have been in these pressure situations before with tons of national experience. Team Vivier having all members experience national championships, both at the U18 and U21 level. And I believe it's the same for Team Fortin.
Yeah, Team Fortin, plenty of experience, 3-time U18 Quebec national champions, many years of playing at the U18 Canadian Championships and the U21 Canadian Championships. Certainly experience that they'll be able to draw on here in this semifinal to hopefully come away with a win. Another stat to look at for these two teams, Team Vivier, I was taking a look at their previous matchups, a plus 29 score differential in their 5 games here at this championship. Compare that with Team Fortin's 6. So Team Vivier scoring lots, scoring fast. Team Fortin is going to have to come out really strong, especially early in this matchup, if they're going to want to last right to the end and hopefully come away with a win. But this is not our only matchup here at the Oshawa Curling Club. All 8 sheets are in play as we feature semifinals, not only for the U21 men and women, but also the U18 sides as well. So taking a look at some of the brackets. First, we take a look at the women's playoffs. Of course, we have introduced our feature matchup with Team Vivier facing off against Team Fortin, but on the other side should be a good one. Number 1 seed Team Tarek taking on Team Desura. On the men's side, some great quarterfinals. We saw an outstanding matchup in our quarterfinal matchup with Smith and McDougall. McDougall moves on. He will face Team Nichols in this semifinal. And on the other side, Team McDonald from Manitoba against Team Quebec, Team Tremblay. Looking now at the U18 boys playoff standings, no quarterfinals on that side, straight to the semis. Features Team Benning facing off against Team McTavish, and on the other side, Team Jewel and Team Genyaga. And finally, on the U18 girls side, Team McClelland will take on Team Wilson, and the OCC Academy will take on Team Gallardo. From both of us here in the broadcast booth, we thank you for joining us here on our playoff day at the World Financial Group Canadian Junior Cup. We'll be back right after this with the first end of our...
Hey, Stu Sells Teams followers. I'm at my brand new listing here at 6C Indian Grove, and I'm so blown away I have fallen over, and I can't take my eyes off this gorgeous, original, molded ceiling that is absolutely stunning. We are bringing this 1911 Grand Estate to market, and it is going to blow your mind. Let me get up and show you what I'm talking about. Look at this woodwork. When they did the renos, they actually took all this wood down, they sent it to Montreal, had it professionally refinished and stained, and they reinstalled it. Like, it is absolutely breathtaking. The pocket doors, the lead glass French doors, it's so unique, this home. It is a grand old estate. The top third floor is a beautiful prime retreat with big closets, its own bathroom, soaker tub, walk out to a balcony. You go to the second floor, 3 large bedrooms, wraparound office, floor to ceiling windows, gorgeous view. And then this is like entertaining central. Actually, the Oscar-winning film JFK was filmed in this living room. It's had multiple movies, commercials, and then the dining room is so grand, and the parlor, and oh my God, there's so much to tell you about this amazing home. You gotta come and see it. And you know the extra bonus? Corner lot, laneway housing potential, single car garage, and a full separate legal 1-bedroom apartment in the basement you can rent out. So look, we're right in the heart of Ronse's High Park. You can walk to the park, it's just down the road. Great shops, great cafes. It's such a beautiful, stately home that you have to come look at it. So go to stusells.ca, see all the photos, the videos, the virtual tour, and give me, Stu, a call for a personal.
And once again, we're inside the Oshawa Curling Club. Our feature game takes us over to Sheet 4. Team Vivier against Team Fortin. Team Vivier having the higher seed coming out of the round robin. Second seed overall in the playoffs, so they do start the game here with Hammer. And looks like we got quite a few rocks in play already here as we pick up halfway through this end. Could be an indication we're in for an exciting one here, Tori.
I sure hope so. Team Vivier also might be coming into this game here with feeling a little bit of an advantage, having beat Team Fortin during the round robin play, Matt. So.
Yeah, and it was a convincing win too. Looking at the line score, finished off 9-2. It's definitely something that Team Fortin is hoping to avoid in the rematch here today.
Okay. Is that going to shoot theirs in, though? I don't know. We always need one, though. Okay, let's do it.
See Dominique Vivier
Let's
calling
get
for
the
the
middle
peel.
one and then, yeah. You got it.
Good start here for Julienne with 2 Yellowstones in the 4-foot sitting 2.
This rock really curling. You can hear Scotia encouraging Claire on the sweep there.
And we'll just get one of them. Positive here for Team Vivier is they do have a very nicely placed red stone there in the top of the 4-foot.
It's a great shot made by Scotia earlier in the end.
May continue to see them peel, but I think at some point you're going to see them try on a run back into that rock. Try to remove at least one of the yellow stones.
This rock needing to sit down, but not the end of the world if it is frozen on that pile. Ended up in a pretty good spot.
It does what they needed to guard the center. Does slip a little bit too close. That run back's going to be very easy for Team Vivier whenever they decide to play it. But for the moment, maybe deciding to wait an extra shot. I guess they could play that run back at any time. For now, they want to hit this Yellowstone side of the 4-foot.
Yeah, you can see the front end and Brooklyn Idison here about to throw. Really liking that run back. But Dom's still choosing to stick with this hit.
I do I kind of like the run back as well, Tori. If you don't make this hit very good, if you roll out of the forefoot,
I think you're just going to see Team Fortin put up a higher guard.
right, they're going to put up a higher guard, and if you don't quite get the curl you're looking for, you're worried about a jam at the back as well.
Already on the top one, so Dom switching gears and calling to curl it to get a bigger chunk. So we'll remove that top stone, opening it back up.
C'est comme 4,60 facile. 65, ça y va. Même plus. Ouais, non, ouais.
Team Fortin out of the Kenagami Curling Club, their coach, Brendan LaFrance. As we'll get our first look at Julianne here, throwing the 4 stones. With that early call, thinking it's a little bit heavy. Calling for a 3, so somewhere just short of the rings.
Might freeze on the their one just back T-line there in the forefoot.
Yeah, you know what? A pretty good result, all things considered. A little bit extra weight than what they wanted, but very good communication there between the sweepers and the line caller to get that rock exactly where they wanted it.
Now, I think we're going to see Dom choose to throw a maybe pretty big upweight hit here.
Yeah, and as we get a look at the overhead, we're going to see that that yellow stone that was just thrown is going to be able to escape out the side of the rings. The whole goal is to come down onto this yellow, back in and make this double here. This yellow should cleanly go out this way, and then this is a pretty lonely yellow that's going to be left in the rings. Especially with the angle of the red stone that's frozen on it, you should be able to eliminate it fairly easily if Team Quebec isn't careful.
So I think I heard them call a 9-second hit here, which is considered a more normal weight.
You want that little bit extra just because you are moving 2 stones. Don't need to necessarily eliminate the first yellow you're hitting, but it needs to roll at least out of the 8-foot.
This rock seeming to kind of jump on them, but does make a really nice shot. Now, I think it left, is there a red double there at the top of the forefoot, Matt?
There is, but it's going to leave the yellow shooter pretty close to the yellow. Will probably leave a double right back for 3. Taking a look at this situation, could you ever guard that red-yellow in the forefoot, or is that just too risky? Difficult to tell. It looks like that yellow, the only other option if you throw a high guard for Team Vivier to get at that Yellowstone would be to run that tight yellow guard back. Possible that yellow on the button would drag into those stones at the back of the 8-foot though.
I think that there's a very high chance that could happen.
Either way, looks like the decision here is to play some sort of hit or the double. I don't know if you want to necessarily move both of those reds unless you're going to move them out of the rings, but if you just move that second red over out of the way, looks like a pretty easy nose double for a bundle. We'll get just to the inside. Does push that redstone over slightly.
I think that worked out pretty well, actually, Tori. I wasn't
I don't
sure.
think there's no yellow double there for Dom to make. So
there's no clean way to eliminate both of the yellows. The only thing I see is you might be able to come down here and touch the yellow and the red, get this one out that way. But then I think this yellow here is just coming straight back into the reds, the back of the 8-foot.
yeah, and where does your shooter go? Your shooter maybe spin up a little bit.
Probably spins up and out of the 8-foot. I think that would only be for one. So with that broom where it is she running the guard back?
I think she is, yes. It's always not necessarily the most comforted thing knowing that you're running in the other team's color.
Yeah, and I mean, it's tough to see a way that it could go wrong for you. It's very difficult to pick out that red and give up a steal at 2, but we'll see. Final stone coming in the first here. Looking to eliminate a yellow and score 1.
Dom already standing up, knowing that she didn't quite make the shot. Maybe just got it out there a little more than she thought she did.
Yeah, just got a little full of the broom, and it ends up as a steal of 1 for Team Fortin. Maybe a bit of a sigh of relief there. Bunch of reds sitting around. Could have gotten ugly, but they escape. Steal of 1 here in the first, and they take a 1-0 lead. After this quick commercial break, we'll pick up in the second.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on,
every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
when victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Megan Fortin throws the lead stones for Team Fortin out of Quebec here. And you know, looking at it's sort of a tale of two different games when you look at these teams specifically in how they got to the semifinal, how they won their quarterfinal matchups. When you look at Team Vivier, a dominating 8-0 win in 4 ends. They weren't out there very long, got early handshakes, got a lot of time to rest. Team Fortin still getting a good amount of time. We had a good amount of time in between games, but their game went right down to the wire. I don't know if you're in either, which scenario would you rather be in, I guess is the question I'm trying to ask, Toria. Sometimes it is nice to come out of a bit of a grindy quarterfinal to know you have that resilience to stick in a very close game, close it out at the end, or would you rather be that side that was able to clean up pretty quickly, got off early, and got a bit more rest?
I mean, obviously on a potentially 3-game day, you want as much rest time as you can. But I don't know. I mean, both teams are here to play a game of curling. You can't really have any expectations. You have to assume that your opponent is going to make their shots. So at the end of the day, I don't think it makes too much of a difference besides maybe just not being quite as tired coming into the game.
Yeah, both teams just need to show up ready to play.
Yeah.
This in-turn draw not quite getting the amount of curl that they wanted. Definitely something to keep an eye on. We've noticed that the ice has been a little bit straighter today than maybe the rest of the weekend, especially on that in-turn side coming home, out-turn going away. We noticed in that quarterfinal matchup the same kinds of misses between the two teams there where they just weren't able to get that last little bit of finish that they were looking for.
And I think we're going to see that here on Clara's stone. Yeah, just didn't quite curl up enough at the end there. But
does get it a piece buried though, so I don't think there's really enough space to get further inside for Julianne.
This rock also seeming to track a little bit wide here, but a little softer weight, so might curl to get a piece.
Even if it does, I don't think it's going to kill it, but it
Nope.
will sail by. That's something we noticed too. Just that little bit of extra weight, maybe a touch more than they're looking for, has no chance to curl up.
Could hear Scotia Maltman as she got in the hack saying, time to capitalize. I think that's a great mentality to have, making sure that your team makes the shot after the opponent miss.
Yeah, that's something I remember from my days in juniors. My coach always used to keep track of that. When the other team misses, how often are we actually making our next shot? Because that's where extra points come from. That's where wins come from. Something to focus on is definitely a good thing to hear from them early on in this one.
I think we'd want this rock just back T line.
Anything deeper than the other red stone would be great.
So it does get a little deeper, sitting just on the top of the T line.
What was it? So like max weight.
Curl, curl. Heard the hard to stick comment, but hits it right on the beak. I think if you're Team Vivier, you're looking for maybe to roll a rock more to the wing. Half a rock.
Yeah, that first draw was maybe not as deep as they quite would have liked. So if you end up hitting this yellow on the nose, be a tricky double, but you could definitely at least roll into that second red stone and sit buried behind the guard. So a small roll would be great for them.
It looks like that's exactly what they're going to get. I don't see any double off that one. So you're going to see Team Fortin try and hit and roll towards the middle to group some red stones, potentially.
Yeah, that was a very precise, wonderful shot by Scotia Maltman. Emmy LaFrance delivers the third stones.
This rock really trying to curl. I think we're going to see Dom call to put it back.
Yeah, with the situation as is, I really don't think it's worth it to try to draw another one around that yellow. A, because we've seen how difficult it is to get that last little bit of curl you need. And B, even if you make it very well, if you make it a good freeze on the red stone, it's such a short run back that it'll be pretty easy to remove either one or both of the red stones. So by drawing to the wings, gives you a much better chance to secure your two.
Sweeper's not touching this one as it enters the house.
He's going to slip right through. And so a missed chance there for Brooklyn Idison. Team Fortin is going to get a second opportunity to remove this red stone. Likely make a small adjustment on the ice based on how straight that last one ran, but be aware we have seen the closer you get to that center line, if you're not careful, they can take off. They seem to like this one a lot better. Very nicely done there.
Brooklyn Idison here with her last.
10-5.
will get a roll to the wing.
10-4. Okay, yeah.
Seems like unless we see a rollout by either team, probably headed for a blank here. With that great roll there by Brooklyn, it's very difficult for Julienne to pull the play back underneath that center guard. Be a very long roll.
Je vais y en mettre un peu plus. Normal. Curl, 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 curl. Whoa, whoa, touche-le pas. I think we might be seeing that rollout that you talked about, Matt. No. If it has a piece, will look like it hit it enough to get it out.
Yeah, so decision time here for Team Vivier. I don't think anyone would blame you for walking up and just peeling that center guard, taking the blank and moving on to the third. But deciding on the more aggressive approach, trying to sink one around this center guard, definitely comes with a little bit of risk too. If you're off either way on the weight, will probably give an opportunity for Team Fortin to set up the steal chance.
We can also drag him, I think, so. Just a hair? I like it.
But usually in the pregame practice, you put a little extra focus into making sure your skip has their draw weight underneath them, especially on a draw to the button. So this is likely a path they're going to be familiar with.
Team back four, I'd be having my broom up.
We're back eight.
That's not where you want to be.
Looks like it will peak to be open from the other side.
Yeah.
Soft, so it just filled out of my hands.
4-6?
Okay.
So like the 4-7 should be good, but like chilling, then we can more.
Bit surprised to not see Team Vivier sweeping that rock deeper. As soon as you know that's behind the tee line, bring it back as far as you can to give yourself some more space with your second one. It'll be interesting to see if Julienne has chosen to draw top four or follow that red right down.
I think I saw her tap top four.
Okay. Which is definitely the better call if you make it, and this is likely up to the sweepers to decide on the weight that they see out of her hand where this rock is going to go.
Push to the bit. Whoa! Make it bend! Yep! Setting! Top four! Whoa! Just that way! Back four, heavy! Whoa!
Sweepers calling heavy. This one's looks like it's got tons of speed.
Vivier getting a chance to draw for her two. Probably going to try and make a little bit of an adjustment based off her last, but not too much.
Yeah, and Team Fortin likely getting caught. We've seen, and we've mentioned this, I think every broadcast, that when you see multiple rocks going down the same path, it speeds up a lot more than you'd expect it to. So I think maybe just the sweepers getting caught there. Honestly, the throw wasn't probably that far off, but because Dom had just thrown that draw right before them, that path ends up being 3-4 feet quicker than you think it's going to be, ends up sailing through, and now a free draw hit the paint for two and the lead.
Was it? Sweepers backing off of this one.
Yeah, this one has a chance to go too.
especially being the third rock down that path. It will put on the brakes though, so it's a 2 on the board for Team Vivier.
Just holds on at the back. So yes, it's a 2-1 lead for Team Vivier when we come back after.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
I feel like I haven't worked enough this game. Like I'm sweating too, but just because it's hot out here.
As the teams finish up their between M break here. Tori, great example. We were just talking about how quickly the path picks up more than you expected to. Even that last draw there by Dominic Vivier, you could see the sweepers when that rock was in the top 12 were raising their hands and brooms as if to say, nice shot. Like they didn't, they expected it to put the brakes on. Continues to carry and thankfully does just stop in time for them to score the 2. But that's just that sign that it's even fooling the sweepers when it's as close as almost being in the rings. You think it's going to be okay.
Yeah, that it surprised me how far that one went for sure, but I do know Dom's rocks tend to travel a little better than some other people's, having played with her at Wilfrid Laurier University. We're both students there, with actually Scotia Maltman as well. So getting to see Dom throw, her rocks do tend to glide a little bit more, but I wouldn't have expected that far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did too.
So Megan Fortin being asked to remove this red stone. Bit surprised to not see the corner guard go up. Looked like both teams were happy to play a little aggressive in these first 2 ends. Still time, we might be seeing a delayed corner being played out. That's an excellent roll there over to the side.
Yeah, Clara is going to have to make a good hit and roll here back to the middle for that corner guard to not go up. But it'll be hard to keep this above the tee line if they get a good roll.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Even if she does make the roll back to the center, I think you're probably back 4. That would be a great scenario to toss up the corner.
Bum! Solid bum! Yep.
Brooklyn Idison hard on the sweep on this one.
Hard, Brooklyn, hard. You got it.
Really trying to curl.
Push. Hard for peace. Did that put the incentive into you? Hard peace. No way. I got a 10-6. Damn. They're feeling down. Yeah. Shoot, I forgot it was my rock.
Surprised we didn't see the corner go up here, Matt.
Yeah, me too. I'm not
Still 10-5.
sure as to
Oh, okay. Well, it didn't
what
feel
the
like
reasoning for that would be. I mean, the thing is, it is the third end, so it's an odd end. You get a blank here. You have hammer back and forth. That is definitely would be a plus. Not to say the blank is wrong by any means, but just strictly based on the style of play we saw in the first 2 ends. The team's willing to toss up some guards, play with some rocks in play. Thought we might continue to see that, but
clean. Yep.
both teams here are likely pretty content to put a blank up on the board, get another end underneath them.
Ain't no way.
This one, though, is not going to get enough, just ticks it over into the 12-foot.
Yeah, you can hear Scotia's frustration with that one there. She thought she had it pretty good down the sheet. Just not getting the finish.
I feel like that's going to be a bit of a theme today. Teams are going to have to tighten up that room and bring their sweepers into play. Good chance to split the rings here now.
Do you like the other turn? We're rolling towards center. Do we? Oh, okay. Bump? So a little less or
I think we're
more?
trying to hit and roll towards that other one there, so to try and group some stones.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Curl. Straight. Clean. Straight. Straight.
This one's starting to move on her, but looks pretty good. Nice shot there by Scotia to try and get those stones a little closer together. That way it should give Brooklyn a shot at a double if Team Fortin happens to nose this one.
So as a reminder, the champions of the U21 event on the men's and women's side will win an all-expense paid trip to Switzerland to compete in the Swiss Cup, a very similar event as to what we hold here. As well as on top of that, they'll go a few days early, get to do some sightseeing, see the mountains, really enjoy their time. Oh
Looks
no,
like
Tori.
we're about to see error here from Brooklyn Idison going through that court.
Down that same spot that Scotia flashed with hers, again not getting the curl, so not sure if it's the throws or maybe that spot is a little straighter than they're expecting it to be.
Well, I'm thinking that must be it. I saw Dom motion for peel weight, so Team Fortin a chance to sit 3.
And so, Tori, you know what it's like to go on that trip, being your team winning this event last year, getting the chance to travel to Switzerland. I believe the event last year was in a slightly different part of the country. This year it's being held in Basel. Last year was Bern. But what was it like to, travel internationally, to get to wear the maple leaf on your uniform, represent, your country in sort of international championship or an international setting? And what would that experience do for these young curlers as they move on in the rest of their career?
Well, I think the exposure just in general on its own is huge. You only get better by challenging yourself and playing different teams. Well, where else are you going to play a bunch of other teams from Switzerland besides in Switzerland, right?
Brooklyn over curling on that one, likely just maybe little safe on that throw based on what happened on the last one, but yeah, it's I'm sure it's a fantastic experience. I'm sure there's, based on the teams that we've seen come over here from Switzerland, I'm sure it's a great competition in terms of skill level.
Yeah, it was actually, they ran the event very differently than what we thought. It was actually to make it into playoffs. Run like a point spiel here, which I found very interesting.
Well, yeah.
We managed to get in with a win, a loss, and 2 ties into the playoffs because of the teams that we beat with head-to-head records, and we had a pretty good shootout. And we ended up, making our way through playoff day and winning the event there too. And it was just such an incredible experience. All the teams there were so nice and friendly, asking us questions about over here. So getting to share a little bit about Canada while over there was pretty cool as well.
So a bit of a miss there by Emmy LaFrance. That same spot, that in-turn off the line. Also noticed a little bit in the quarterfinal. We didn't get the chance to see, those teams throw a ton of those rocks off the line, especially that wide, but based on what we've seen here with these girls, it must be running quite a bit straighter than it has either on other sheets or earlier in the weekend. Something's catching them off guard.
Make her make something.
Still a very good chance here, 4-2. Looks like there may be, looks a little flat. The double might be there, but it would be difficult. Even if you hit this a little thick and just roll over to that other yellow stone. As we look at it with the overhead, actually, it looks a little bit easier. But
growing up in competitive curling, playing against Dom through U18 and juniors, can definitely say she's a pretty good hitter. So I could see her trying to play this double all day.
well, she'll get to show off her hitting abilities here as she's taking a good crack at this double. They seem to think it's close. She'll get one, roll over, make contact with the second stone, remove them both from play. Well done there by the skip to pull her team out of trouble here in the third. And what a turnaround. Just one after two complete misses by Team Vivier. You know, you get one miss back by Team Fortin, then that double's made and your end is totally gone. It's got to be little disconcerting if you're the team from Quebec here in the third.
Yeah, having that chance to sit three probably felt like really big in the moment, and just sort of letting that slip away is a little unfortunate because now you're, looking at blanking the end here. See a rollout here.
Let's try and get this draw weight down.
Give Dom a chance to practice her draw weight to the forefoot.
I feel like we need to make her hit more.
Honestly, I need to get my draw weight.
This will be good for her, especially after that last end. Her first draw sinking to the back 8. Second draw just hanging on in the back 12. So she'll try and make the adjustment.
Yeah, that's valid.
Wants to put this top 4.
Okay, 4-7 with your normal release. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, just have to trust that it's fast.
Yeah. I got you.
So Dominique Vivier with a chance to try and hone in on her draw weight here. After 2 draws going deep on her in the second end, looking to make a good one here, right on the forefoot.
Nice. I don't want to go. All you.
Sweepers on this one early.
All you guys. Line's really good.
A little more. Come on. You got it. We can check. Come on.
What a great brush.
Hard. Go.
Looks like they're gonna get it to
Good sweep, guys. 17.
the paint.
Good sweep.
Excellent sweep by Scotia and Clara.
What was my time? 4.8. Yeah, I didn't add at all. I didn't have my
So the final rock coming here for Julianne, looking for the blank. Throwing the out turn, so we've seen this spot track pretty straight. As long as she has a piece out of her hand, should be okay. Final rock here in the third. And looks like this one's going to curl up, hit it on the nose, and stick around. So missed opportunities here in the third is the story for Team Fortin. We'll take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, it's a tied match, 2-2 after.
Hey, curling fans, I'm standing here in front of Sheets 2 here at the High Park Club, and I just want to let you know that I'm so excited to sponsor the sport of curling, to help curling out. So you can go to stucurls.com, see all my events, see the Stu Sell series. But you know what? I also sell real estate as well. So you need to buy a house, list a house, condo, rental, business. Look, give me Stu a call.
And picking up again here at the start of the fourth. Megan Fortin. throwing the lead stones for this squad.
I think a little bit loss of momentum there in that third end there, Matt. Having the chance to sit 3 and then suddenly forcing yourself by missing that hit and roll out for the blank.
Yeah, certainly a huge swing of momentum. But if you're Team Fortin, you have to look at the scoreboard. Look at what's happened here so far in this game. It's a tie game. You don't have the hammer, so yes, you're a little bit behind the 8 ball, but this is the exact situation you were in to start the game, tied without. You were able to get a steal in the first, so there are silver linings that I think you need to focus on. And it's not like Team Vivier is playing, you know, way above their heads or anything like that. You saw 2 flashes from them there in that third end. In the first end, they seemed a little out of sorts as they weren't able to get things set up or close it out for multiple. So definitely not too much to be, or they might be a little upset, sorry, about that last end, but not a ton to worry about, I don't think, quite as of yet.
17-2.
Love to get this right around that red.
The line's perfect for it. Gonna dig in, back 4.
Yeah, and that's very well done. Slips a little bit deeper than they would have liked, but Team Vivier makes a good draw here. Deciding to take the other turn, which is the same as the one they threw on the last shot, so should have a good idea, but even if they make a very good freeze, there's space for Team Fortin to follow them down, make a freeze, and really cut down the scoring area. That red rock on Team Vivier's first coming up a little bit lighter than they would have liked to be. Sort of acts as a second guard.
Clara just being a little bit heavy with this one. Sitting shot stone though at the back of the 4-foot, but there is a nice little pocket there, so Team Fortin can put a good one in there.
Yeah, really not a good outcome at all. Anything light of the button, top 4, top 8, even top 12 is something that you can improve later. Use, that's a nice big pocket for Megan to follow down into. This one tracking wide early though, probably looks a little bit heavy too. Don't want to push this red too far and lose that pocket.
Pocket's still there, but now gives Team Vivier the same chance.
Unless I think we come around. We're not sitting awful. If we do this, it's pretty good. I think
so. Contemplating between the defense or offense here, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not really I thought she was on the right track with her first one. Those rocks at the back of the 4-foot, even if you make a good draw here, Team Fortin can just come in with the in-turn instead, and as soon as they get one in the 4-foot, you're gonna be in a little bit of trouble. You peel that guard, you still have a very good chance to possibly score a double if things go wrong, but you're almost never giving up a steal in that scenario.
Now, looks like Scotia made a peach here, so gonna stop right at the top of the button, barely getting by that rock on the top of the 12. So great sweep by Brooklyn Idison and Clara Disanaika.
Yeah, about as good as you could make it, and well done. You sort of had to make it that good with the call being what it was, but even so, a good freeze here will really take away a lot of space for Team Vivier.
Pounded Doms the entire way. It just made it tough.
Yeah, the weight looking pretty good on this one. Does have to curl. They can hook a piece. I don't know how Team Vivier gets it out.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Like if I throw same weight.
So Dom calling to freeze on the inside of that yellow.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty open. I would be tempted to remove that yellow stone if you think you can. If you think about the freezes, even if you freeze into the pocket, it's a pretty short angle tap. And once that yellow gets on the button, it's never leaving.
Getting there. Rocking on that rock top 12. We're going to see the Quebec team here try and play that same shot. Just a little bit more on that red on the top of the button instead.
Of course, this is not the only game out there on the ice. All 8 sheets are in play. 2 semifinal games for U21 women's, men's, U18 boys, and girls. And we'll keep you updated on all the scores as we go across and the implications of who will move on to our finals. Beginning over on sheet 1, U18 girls matchup. It is Team McClellan with a 3-0 lead. Currently in the 4th, although actually looking at the scoreboard, looks as if it is 5-0 now, currently playing in the 4th.
It's another little bit of a missed opportunity there to make a good one.
Sheet 2, the U21 men's semifinals. Team McDonald opening up a very nice 4-1 lead over Team Tremblay, playing the 4th. On sheet 3, the OCC Academy up 3-0 over Team Gallardo. That is a U18 women's semifinal. Our feature, of course, on sheet 4. Looks like we're going to get a timeout here on the feature. So I'll try to get these updates done before Jim Wilson is able to come out and provide his opinions. But over on sheet 5, U18 boys, McTavish up 3-0 over Team Benning in the 3rd. Sheet 6, it is a close one. The other U18 men's semifinal, Team Ganyaga tied 2-2 with Team Jewel. Now moving over to the end of the club, sheet 7, McDougall 1-0 over Team Nichols, and over on sheet 8, Team Tarek with a, looks like they just put the 3rd end up as well. It's actually a steal of 3, so make that 8-0 over Team Desura. That's the same sheet Team Vivier was on this morning when they scored an 8-0 victory over Team Langford. So something going on something in the water over there on sheet 8. I'm not sure, but Team Tarek, in control. We'll listen here to Jim Wilson.
They're gonna come a run or some shit.
I love that.
The freeze?
Now that you're saying if
You like
we
the
can
tap?
freeze it to the inside of it, that's pretty good, isn't it?
And you like the tap better or the freeze?
Well, if we tap it, what do they play? If you tap it.
The double and those straight back one?
If it's on the inside, right?
Okay.
If it's on the inside, it's okay.
Okay. It's up to you, you're throwing it. Like, I genuinely think if we tap it back, then they have a chance to hit something. If we freeze or even for light, they have to take multiple rocks to make something happen.
Even if you bump it and land here?
Huh?
Like if you bump it and land here? Like just with like back 8 or no?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like
cancel
it.
it.
If you line up light, that's okay. They have to make something happen
Yeah.
still.
So
I think it's just
decision
time for them to run in.
try and play, I think,
Because if
the
you're late, they
freeze
can
on
play
the inside
that
of
red.
yellow
I
with
mean,
your
it's not
tolerance
easy,
being
but
in the top 12, biting the top of the 8.
yeah,
there
I mean,
in
it
front
just
of
looks like a
that
shit
yellow.
pile right now.
So that way it's a lot more difficult to promote if you're
That's
Team
awkward.
Fortin.
Yeah, you're sort of in it now. You have
Off
to
the ice now.
continue to load up the house as much as you can.
I think the worry with playing a tap or a hit on that yellow was potentially leaving a double back.
Anywhere really in this space is going to leave you plenty of opportunities. You'd love to be right down into the pocket between that red and yellow, but plenty of space to be a couple feet light. Shot on its way now from Brooklyn.
This rock really curling though.
Hard!
Scotia Maltman really going to have to go to keep this straight. Looking like it is going to roll off.
Hard, roll it off. Hard,
Be all over those rocks in the top 12.
Any roll, roll it. Okay, not terrible.
I think that yellow is
I got a 15-7.
maybe accessible enough
It just
to
ran
promote
different,
into
like,
that
it cut
button.
a lot
I
really
think
red.
so. I think if it's perfect weight, like back button, you could probably squeak by both of those reds and push it up. I actually quite liked Julian's first idea, making contact with that red stone on the left-hand side, this one here, which should come over, push this yellow stone over into this red one and back somewhere in this area here on the button.
Moi, je vois ça peut-être essayer de la...
Si on vient là, si on fait ça,
Moi, je vois ça.
Juste
essayer
ça.
de là.
ouais.
C'était là, c'était
OK.
Même si tu restes là, I mean, c'est quoi qui est le pic? L'erreur, c'est d'être light, I mean. Iris. L'erreur, c'est d'être light.
Gentil? Back 4, petit. Juste flopper, genre.
Est-ce qu'on est deuxième shot?
C'est ça, ben, on la pousse.
Brief discussion there by Team Fortin. I am not a French major, Tori, so not exactly sure what the final decision was there. Based on that ice, though, looks like probably playing your first idea there of just maybe back 4 weight, come through the hole and promote that yellow stone to the side of the button.
Yeah, I can't be for sure on what they're saying. I stopped taking French in grade 9, but I think I heard a back line here.
Trying to get the line right.
Great shot if it's made.
Nice shot. Good.
Well
Really
done
nice.
there, but I think get a look at the overhead here in a second. It's very close for shot stone. I think it might still be red as I look at it. But at the same time, how do you get a second one in there?
I don't really see what else we have. We can try that. Would it only be for one? I think we locked it. Discard. Only do 12. You're a little bit wider here.
What was the call here?
The guard, I'm just not entirely sure what it is she's guarding. I'm not sure. Do you think you can hit that yellow? Yeah, I'm just, from where I'm sitting, it doesn't look like you can really hit it high enough to like get the angle to get that yellow stone into the button for shot. It is close though.
Dom must think it's there, so not going to play it.
It's definitely close enough that I guess I wouldn't want to find out after the fact if it is.
If you hit that red one, kind of frozen to the side of that yellow. Would that ever promote the yellow into the red on the top of the button?
It certainly could. You're talking about this red stone here, Tori?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
so
you were to hit a quarter.
something like this, lose the shooter, this red spins out this way, and you're saying this yellow,
Maybe?
it looks like it's going to go into the top of the red, but it certainly is possible that even if it drags slightly, if it drags slightly down at all, that red's going to go, but even if it does end up going into the top of the red, you do have space to sort of push it down and through this way. So that's certainly possible. It's also possible that it might just go over the top and
I think that's
push
what
the
they're,
red back into here, which is not what you want.
I think that's what they were just eyeing up to see if it was there.
Well, because that red-yellow combination here is frozen, like actually looks like they're touching each other, I do think this yellow stone is going to be dragged down slightly when you make contact with the red. That red's going to pull the yellow with it. And so the way I look at it, I do think that red will go. But because they're beside each other, you're hitting a third of a rock. It's not going to have a ton of speed coming in sideways either.
So, Team Fortin looking about just maybe throwing a draw there on that side, and then I think that sets up for a force.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I said it on the last shot too. I'm not really sure how you get two if you're Team Vivier. I think your best chance, obviously, right now is just a draw into the side of the button there somewhere. The only other thing that I maybe see, oh, excuse me. I was doing so well. There we go. Oh. We'll fix this in a second. There we go. I'm going to turn this thing off for a second. The only other thing I see is that red stone just above the UN of Canadian Junior Cup there, the top of the ring. That could be promoted onto the red top of the button, but I don't think it ends up grabbing enough of the forefoot to outcount that yellow stone in the bottom right.
So choosing to play the draw here to see if they can sit one, but stopping anywhere lighter here should maybe just put on the force for this end against Team Vivier.
Yeah, they're calling for this to curl, though. I don't think that's what you want to see. You need to leave this out a little bit to block the draw.
Unless they were guarding that run back tap that you were just pointing out.
Yeah, a little bit worried about this red stone. If you could ever get it, actually, Tori, if you could ever get it over the top a little bit, stick that red one here, and then this could come back and get both yellows maybe, so that might be what they're worried about. But looks to me like it's left enough space here to possibly score two. Of course, it's not the last rock at the end coming quite yet.
Dom looking at the peel.
It's a good idea. Reopens both of those shots, the red tap and the draw.
they don't hit it.
I don't see how they take out our
Some
yellow,
pretty
our red right
smart
now.
logic there from Scotia. If it doesn't harm us,
think it
I don't
hurts.
hate it.
Yeah.
Little less.
Choosing to play the double peel this way, which is going to send that Yellowstone that they're hitting straight. It will touch off of the other Yellowstone if you hit it thin enough, but it will roll straight back. So keep an eye on some of those stones in the rings. May see some movement there too.
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Oh, you can't sweep that.
Interesting situation here.
Yeah, moved both those stones, and I think made that red raise a lot more dangerous for Team Fortin, because now with those reds lined up, I think it will definitely make the double on the yellows at the back of the forefoot. So you sort of have to guard that and give Dominique the draw to the side of the button for 2. Wouldn't be the easiest draw for 2 either, so be pretty happy in that scenario if you're Team Fortin.
Même point.
Huh?
Même point. Ouais, mais le plus, mais encore comme vers plus vers ennemi, c'est bon.
Final stone in the 4th here for Julianne.
This rock coming in a little heavy, so trying to curl it to change some angles. I think that does the job.
I think that run back's still available.
Still there, but it's just not quite as easy now.
Yeah, I missed the line call just a bit. I think their idea was get a little bit of curl. They wanted to tuck it a piece around that red stone in the top of the 12-foot, but they just touched off the red, and I think stayed enough in the open that you can hit it on the nose. I think I still see it for 2, but it's an easier.
Dom giving it a try still.
The issue that I see is this yellow, you can't quite see all of it, so it's coming back a little bit in this direction. My idea is to go red into red. This one come back and make this double, eliminate the 2 yellows. The only thing I only see it for 2 because I think this red stone in the top of the 8-foot, I think that's just gonna roll out this way. I don't think it's gonna stick around in the 4-foot for 3, but a 2 would still be a great result here for Team Vivier. Final stone now coming here in the 4th. So she's going to make contact with the yellow, push it back, red, off of the 1 yellow, and does touch the second one, but is it enough to sit 2? Doesn't quite look like it. It looks like they're going to put a measure to the 2 stones, though. So it looks like
really close.
Yeah, as I look at it, I don't know. At first, I was pretty sure that it was yellow, but as I take a second look at it,
like it's red.
you saw Julianne take a quick look and tap the yellow stone. Not sure if that was confidence or hope, but So measures the red stone and now around to the yellow. And it is clearly yellow, so it is just a single point here for Dominique and Team Vivier. We're going to take a quick break, but after 4 ends of play, the first half of this semifinal matchup, Team Vivier holding a 3-2 lead over Team.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
Picking up here now in the second half. Good first half of the game for both teams, I think. Had some opportunities. Some were capitalized on, some were missed, but both teams playing everything very close to the chest here, keeping it close. It is a 3-2 lead for Team Vivier moving forward into the back half of this one.
Yeah, Team Vivier getting into a little bit of trouble early in that end and managing to make it out with a single. Did have a chance to make a shot for 2, but didn't end up working out.
Yeah, and thinking back to that end, they had the opportunity to walk up and peel that center guard earlier on in the end, which I think would have led to a much simpler situation. Not to say they are unhappy to walk away with their single, but certainly could have found themselves in trouble in that end if 1 or 2 shots were made a little bit better by Team Fortin, but they were able to escape, get their one, had a good chance at 2, but just not quite enough on the measure. And now a hogged rock there means we'll see the free chance to throw up the corner.
I'm sure we'll see a correction here from Clara after that.
Okay.
Je pense que le push. Ouais. Ah non, mon micro.
Sweepers going again on this one. Thinking it's a little light again, but Don calling the rock in the house.
You go. We're like top 4. T.
So weight's okay.
Yeah, go a little, go a little.
Killed the line a little bit, I think, on that sweep.
Yeah, maybe that little bit of an early brush held it out. We've seen there in that spot, the rocks tend to run a little bit straighter. Might be a little bit surprised to see them call the hit here. That redstone not really in the best position for Dominique. It's a good weight, but just a fair bit off of the center line. So I thought we might see Team Fortin elect to ignore it and just play the straight draw around the corner.
Yeah, the styles of play for these teams seem a little different. I think Team Fortin operates a little more defensively than Team Vivier.
On tire trop fort.
So we'll see how that pans out for them this end. See if they get a chance to set up for 2.
Clean, yep.
Not really sure what happened there, Tori. Was that
It was bump.
11-2.
just lighter than they wanted it and just somehow found a spot that curled a lot?
Le piqué ou pas?
I'm not entirely sure. They all seem to be in shock of what happened. Scotia's thinking that she threw close to the weight that Dom called, so
Yeah, didn't really hear a ton of panic from them either. It was almost like it was suddenly just gone immediately, so not sure if maybe it grabbed.
yeah. Because that flashed by well over a rock, so
Mhm.
that...
Not something that you're used to seeing from a team of this caliber, for sure. Open opportunity now. Team Fortin looking to bury this around the corner guard.
That was the miss that they needed to set up for their two. This rock is sitting about a good...
No.
Good
I like
half
3/4.
open. Scotia's saying 3/4 open.
Give me Bob.
It's the same weight. Just, I guess, sharper release.
Yeah, just straight through.
Scotia Maltman with her last.
Yep. Whoa. Close. Yep.
Oh, curl. Curl. Straight.
Straight.
Straight. Hard straight.
Straight.
Hard. Keep going. Roll it.
Bruh.
Good. 11, good weight.
Here's some unsatisfaction there from Scotia.
Yeah, just not quite the pair of throws that she was looking for. Again, not 100% sure what happened on that first one, possibly picked, but even that one, they seemed to like it out of her hand, and then all of a sudden just found a little bit more curl than they were expecting. Basically got a nose hit. This one looking like it has a good chance to roll under that corner. Just not quite. The nice part here, if you're Team Fortin, is looking at these yellow stones right there. Now, there isn't an easy double on them. And that's why Dominique electing instead just to play the hit and roll in front of the other yellow stone.
So Brooklyn
10-5,
Idison.
10-5. 10-5. 10-5.
Curl.
Hard curl.
Straight.
Looks like this is going to be a good one. Double could have been there.
Yeah, it ended up being a lot easier than I thought. She hit maybe a thin half of that and easily rolled into the other yellow. Hit it right there with, a little bit more weight. You could definitely eliminate it both. But really no option here for Julianne. Has to remove this red stone. Would love to, if you could, roll towards the center line. You can't roll very far because you can't risk jamming it, but a little bit of a flop would be nice.
This one really curling as well. Wondering if maybe there's a slight spot there, and that's what Scotia's rock got caught into.
Keep an eye on this roll, though. Could sweep to roll this yellow behind the corner. That one just didn't have any weight. I mean, still hit a good half of that red, but didn't remove any stones from the rings. Which might be a blessing in disguise that they kept that yellow around over on the side 12.
See Dom choose to hit it. Trying to get a little roll towards that corner guard and rolling pretty perfect. I don't think they can see any of that rock.
Yeah, very nicely done by Brooklyn.
Hey, at least we're judging the weights a little bit.
The red appears to be fully buried underneath that corner guard. But it is a corner guard, so as good as that shot is, Team Fortin isn't afraid to now play this freeze on the red. Would love to, if the line is perfect and you're going to get up and get a good piece of that red, would love to bump it back a couple feet. Sit, second shot.
after it got by that guard, but worked out.
Yeah, I think it definitely looks like enough to sit second and fairly well buried. Pretty aggressive line call there by the thrower. She was pretty confident calling whoa down the ice. Didn't get by the guard by a ton.
It just seems kind of.
Is there a double there on those two reds or no?
No, I'm not seeing. You can't see enough of that yellow.
It's hard to tell without the overhead.
But no, that yellow looks like it's probably showing maybe a quarter rock from the hack, but.
So I'm sitting right kind of above the center line, and from my angle, that rock is fully buried. Maybe the tiniest sliver.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just worried about them hitting.
I think we're going to see Dom try and freeze tap it. Same shot that Team Fortin just made.
Right?
Yeah, come down with maybe a foot or two more weight than she just saw from her opposition.
So here and then they hit ours, are they
I
two?
think if you make contact with about half of the stone, you could probably push it over the top of that other red. Keep an eye out, though, on where your shooter ends up rolling. You'd hate to make a great shot just to leave a double or a triple back.
I think we're 4-7, like solid 4-7. Should be good.
So looking to come down here, push this yellow out over top of the red stone. First rock here by Dominique Vivier.
Line early.
Yeah, this one looks like it's going to be dangerously close to being all over that corner.
I think making sure you roll off here is really important. So now exposing that yellow.
Got started out of her hand.
Not the easiest rock to remove with that type of port, but it is open.
Looks like you started it, maybe. I don't know.
Talking about if Dom maybe got that rough going.
But it curled like out
of your hand.
Now,
Two options here, Tori.
How much do you have of that yellow?
You know, I think the go-to option is the one that they're going with, just hitting this redstone that is shot rock sitting two, and just sit down right here. So that's option one.
I mean, if they're sitting here, though, we're gonna.
Option two, and you know, just being devil's advocate here, would you ever think about maybe making a play onto this short run back here? You'd roll your shooter somewhere over in this direction, sit in front of the other red. Maybe that's the way that you try and go for three, or is it just a situation that you would only go for if you really had to?
Fifth end, I don't hate it. It's a little more of an aggressive play, but it definitely puts a lot of pressure on Dom and her team to make a good one on her last.
Yeah, and it's a much more difficult shot too, so you'd hate to take it on and miss it. I don't think there's anything wrong with this call at all. Just something that I saw that I thought might be worth a second glance at.
Now this one rolled to an interesting spot because the yellow's sitting
third of the yellow?
a little higher in the house there, just
thinking.
kind of in line with the top of the forefoot. It is fully open, but it's difficult to remove with that yellow corner guard up.
Yeah, really tough to get either of those yellow stones out the way things are. A very fortunate roll. I'm not sure. I think it stuck around to sit two.
Or even like a 9-5-10.
And looking over at sheet 8, I see a bunch of rocks being pulled back from the far end, signaling the end of the other women's U21 semifinal. The fifth end score didn't go up on the board, but it was Team Tarek who held an 8-1 lead with the hammer going into that fifth end, and they were able to close it out. So Team Tarek of Winnipeg, Manitoba, the first team here at the World Financial Group Canadian Junior Cup to advance to the championship final. They'll have the opportunity to play for that all-coveted, all-expense-paid trip to Switzerland in February.
Like, I don't hate doing the hit.
Do you want to go look at that from that
They will await the winners of this matchup in that championship match. First rocks will fly at 8:30 p.m. local time in the finals.
What are you thinking?
Like, we could go for it. It's a very hard shot. If I make a double, let's say I make a double, great shot, but I'm rolling out, so she's still getting hurt too. Right now, it's close, but if you think she's one
Team Tarek, the number 1 seed in
You go
this
that way, not that way?
event following the round robin, going undefeated in the round robin matchups, and now 2 very convincing wins here in the playoffs.
Are we second shot?
Tori, 2 very good teams here as well, but I think whoever wins this game is going to have their hands full. I think it's going to be a great women's final, to be totally honest, regardless of who ends up winning this match.
I agree.
Brief discussion with her sweepers there, and it looks like Team Vivier is instead going to decide to call a timeout. Interesting. I think that's their second timeout that they've used here in this match already.
I think it is, but they've spent a good while of time on this shot, and philosophy kind of is, you spend longer than a minute and a half discussing a shot, you might need to call out your coach.
Yeah, you just hate it's so early in this game for both of your timeouts to be gone. You'd hate to be standing around in the 7th or 8th and wishing you had them, but we're going to get a second look here at Jim Wilson as he comes out and discusses the possibilities with Team Vivier.
Our options here, throw the out turn around the horn. If you get around top 4,
Would you ever,
shot, right?
this is crazy, draw around that center guard and sit top 8?
Well, you know, I was thinking about it, like, I'm looking at this situation on these yellows, and I'm not seeing an easy way to get either yellow out. I mean, I think you could, well, I was about to say you could throw peel and hit it on the nose. I was forgetting the fact that there's another yellow stone over on the other side of the ring, so I was thinking you could just lose one of the yellows off your own, but that's obviously not an option. You know, Tori, I don't see a whole lot else. I mean, perhaps after Jim's, with Jim finishing, we'll hopefully take a look at the overhead here of the house just to see how deep that Yellowstone is. The only issue with the draw is that yellow rock on the left-hand side that sits open is something that Team Fortin could come in off of. So say you made a great draw into sort of this sort of area. Well, it feels
exactly where Dom is putting her broom.
Yeah, and that is not where you want to be, simply because of this possibility here that Team Fortin could come in off of their own. You kill this red out the back, kill the red that Dom will be throwing, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's a 4 spot. I think you want to make sure there's 2 spots you can be. You can either be a little bit higher in this sort of area so that that in-off isn't available, and any chases,
Okay, that 4-7
you know,
with solid
may end
release
up
is good.
jamming on something over here.
As your
Or
last
the
one?
second option is you try to come right back, closer to that back Yellowstone, somewhere that Team Fortin wouldn't be able to chase it. Although be aware that there is the possibility of playing an in-turn through that hole to chase either of these stones as well.
So let's see where Dominique Vivier decides to put this rock. Last stone here in 5.
Gotta be top 4, guys.
Scotia's rock.
Hard line.
Gotta go.
It's up to the sweepers now. This one appears to be very light. This is going to be all over that red guard, Tori.
Doesn't have the weight to push it over enough. Leaving a nose hit for 4, or a nose run back for 4.
Yeah.
Albeit
Well,
it's just a 4-foot run back, but not originally not planning on playing it. Looking at just drawing. But
you know,
front end pointing it out, saying, I think you throw the run back.
I really like it. You know, if this was a tie game or if you were up 1 in that sort of area, then yes, I think 3 is probably more than enough. But But with where you are now down one with, I think the difference between 3 and 4 here is actually a lot bigger than you might think on the scoreboard. Being up, the difference between, being up 2 without versus being up 3 without, that's a big jump in the percentage chance of winning this game. And the fact that, this run back is not really a difficult shot. I mean, it's a nose hit. You make that redstone go, you score 4. You can play either turn at it, I think. And they've seen enough throws here with both turns at this spot on the sheet that I think they'll have a good idea.
Hole's a little smaller, though.
Yeah,
Hole's a little smaller.
Hole's a little
I
smaller.
almost think the intern looks a little easier.
I agree. I think that would be my preference.
Throw peel it up. Throw peel it up.
Mais il faut juste noser ça.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. Like 4-7.
Just pick a weight that you know what the movement of the sheet is going to do. There's really no reason to throw. I mean, if that happens to be peel, then it's peel. But there's no reason that you have to throw this very hard. Throw something that is going to allow your sweepers to work with it and give you that little bit extra margin of error to still make the shot. I would love to see maybe a normal, probably not any less than a control style of weight.
So this looks like a lot of ice. You're taking quite a while to decide how to play this shot, so they know how big of an opportunity this is.
Yeah, I don't love the idea of Julianne staying down here near the hack and discussing the shot. If there's something to discuss, especially about where the broom needs to be placed, I'd love to see her go back down to the other end, signal to her vice, and then come back and go through her pre-shot routine. Now, it doesn't look like they moved the broom at all, so looks like they're sticking with the plan. Maybe the discussion was just a little bit on what weight to throw. But even with that, again, the broom is dependent on what weight you're going to throw too. So really important that everybody ends up on the same page.
Mais on peut faire le tour si tu veux. Mais ça y va pas. Parce que tu vas pogner la jaune avant d'être nose. C'est sûr à 1000%. C'est vrai que si on est large de ce bord-là, on a plus de chance que si on est large de ce bord-là.
So after a lengthy discussion, Julianne Fortin, final stone here in the 5th, and a chance to open this game with a 4.
Holding this rock really well.
Yeah, sweeping this all the way, needs to come off that guard. Is he going to get enough of the yellow? Hits it over top of the red, but just not enough weight. Pushes the redstone, looks like back enough for 3.
If you're Team Vivier, you're taking a big sigh of relief right now.
Yeah,
that was the way that they chose to play that.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about it. I'd like to chat with you about, what could have been going on during that lengthy discussion, but that, at the end of the day, not enough weight to make that shot. But I'll be still a great result for Team Fortin. Puts 3 up on the board, and they hold a 5-3 lead here after the 5th.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
At the start of the 6th, Megan Fortin throwing the lead stones here for this team out of the Kinagami Curling Club in Quebec. And Tori, let's talk a little bit about what we saw there at the end of that, and not really sure if maybe there was some miscommunication there or unsureness on what weight to throw. I was just a bit surprised. It looked like they decided on a shot, decided on a weight. Then Julianne comes down to the throwing end and engages in a 1, 2, 3 minute discussion with her sweepers. At that point, I would have liked to see her go back down to the other end just to make sure that the line caller was on board with exactly what it was they were trying to do. She gets in the hack, throws that shot. Not really enough weight to make it. Looked like there was maybe some confusion on the line call. They played it very close to that center guard. What's your perspective on that? What could have maybe been done differently? And I mean, not to take anything away, putting 3 on the board is absolutely still a huge plus for them, but anything there that could have been done differently?
Talk about a shot for that long. As I said earlier, it might be worth just calling a timeout and bringing your coach out on the ice. Sometimes it's just to get that extra reassurance on the shot and how to play it. But I think in that situation, throwing a control weight, 10 seconds, 10 and a half if you didn't want to throw that much, even an 11 would have made it. But instead, the choice was to throw closer to probably like a board hack, not being able to remove that red rock out of the house when really that was your primary goal, to get the 4. Oh, we're going to see a nice hit and roll here from Clara. But, sorry, back on track to that conversation, Matt. Tighten up the ice, because, yeah, they papered that one guard, and I think the unsureness and maybe the pressure you would put on yourself to make that shot, you want to make it as simple as you can, and in that instance, I felt like they made it a little more complicated.
Yeah, and again, we didn't really, well, we heard the conversation, but don't know exactly what the discussion was. Could have been that the call was to throw that 11, 10 and a half seconds. Maybe she was just a little bit light, but either way, I think just something maybe, a discussion that you have after the game that the coach can help facilitate so that if that situation ever happens in the future, maybe there's a better way to approach it.
10 here?
Yeah, I think so. Really want to keep our shooters.
Yeah.
That being said, hey, after 5 ends, I think if you walked up to her before the game and said, hey, after the 5th end, you'd be up 2 without, she would have taken that deal in a heartbeat.
Yes. Hard.
Scotia Maltman now
Really hard.
with her rocks here in the 6th.
Really moving on her.
Whoa. Straight, yep. I don't know. Just roll it in.
Not a bad result there from Scotia. You have one buried behind a corner guard, and you have one on the other wing. Only half on. We are going to see
was the 7.
Team Fortin choose to play the hit.
Yeah, if the rocks were a little bit closer, maybe that redstone somewhere on the center line, you might see them throw a peel with a decent chance at getting a double later. But I think with the 2-point lead, you have to hit this open one. That's a 3rd rock in a row for Scotia that has well over curled out of her hand. So keep an eye. Possible that those rocks might be a little mismatched, something they have to keep in mind and take care of.
Now I'm going to hit this rock, but doesn't look like roll on. Yeah, Dom clarifying that rock is not in. So going to hit and roll away, sit the deuce, or sit the 2, and then just probably try to trade hits for the rest of the ends to get your deuce.
10, same weight.
And I think this is a pretty straightforward end for both teams. Really only unless we see a rollout by Team Vivier, and we might see then a run back opportunity by Team Fortin. But barring that, looks like a pretty good chance for 2. Even if Team Fortin does roll out at some point, we'll see where this one ends up. Looks like it's going to hit about half a stone.
Really nice shot by Scotia.
Yeah, keep some nice separation. But even if we see a rollout by Team Fortin, I'd be surprised if Dominique tries to fit another one around that corner guard. Doesn't look like there's a lot of space. I think I'd I think we'd be more likely to maybe see her try and squeeze one around that yellow first. And of course, all of our games are in motion here across all the sheets. Let's do a quick score update on what's happening in all our other semifinals. Starting over on sheet 1, Team McClelland continues to hold on to their lead, now up 5-2. Currently beginning play in the 6th. Sheet 2, Jordan McDonald took a good lead to start the game and has been holding on ever since. He is now up 6-2 over Team Tremblay. Now moving over to sheet 3, Team Gallardo opening up a 5-3 lead over the OCC Academy. The OCC Academy starting being up 3-0 after 2, but giving up a couple steals and 5 consecutive points, so they now have a hole to dig themselves out of. Leapfrogging over our own game, now over to sheet 5 in the U18 boys semifinal. Team Benning with a comfortable 7-2 lead over Team McTavish, just as I look at the most recent line score update going up there. Over on sheet 6, Team Jewel up 6-2 over Ganyaga. Sheet 7, McDougall struggling here in this other U21 men's semifinal as Team Nichols opening up a 5-0 lead against them, currently in the 6th end. And of course, on sheet 8, it was that victory by Team Tarek out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, 8-1. And as I turn my attention now back to our feature, what happened here? Tori, where'd that yellow come from?
Team Fortin made a really nice hit and roll to the center, and then when Team Vivier tried to make a hit and roll back to the wing, it overcurled and they just nosed it, leaving Team Fortin a hit and roll behind cover here. So now Team Vivier trying to make a freeze or put it in a good spot above that yellow that they can promote it later. And it looks like Brooklyn Idison just made a really good shot here to set that up. Maybe a little bit of an undercurl, but pretty close.
For sure seems like it's accessible. Should be space to remove that redstone flop underneath the corner.
Say if the roll is not made here under and they do nose it, which they can get by and nose it without jamming on their own, it does leave Team Vivier the double back.
Very makeable double to sit too, so not totally worried yet for Dominique unless this hit and roll happens to be made.
Calling yes right out of the hand. Wondering if she got this one going.
Go, 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 yeah.
That was hard to do, Matt.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was that much space pass. Squeaks by that red in the top of the 12-foot and overrolls, so
sitting third shot.
Yeah, but actually I think you're pretty happy if you're Julianne there. Overrolling to a spot that there really is no makeable double for Dominique.
Dom gonna play the same draw, just maybe wanting it another third rock over. Probably gonna see either a draw to the back 4 to kind of split and sit 2, or guarding that shot so Dom can't promote it on her next.
There's a way to make this freeze and be shot though, so that would definitely be best case scenario for them. Saw Brooklyn was very close on the weight, just hopefully they've tightened up the broom a hair.
bit of room to curl.
T, back four.
Dom, a communications student at Wilfrid University.
Wingo little. Back four. T.
Rock just
Coming down,
being
T, back four, back four.
a little too heavy,
Wingo.
it looks like. Gonna settle maybe right beside that yellow. But is shot stone, so Team Fortin does have to deal with it.
Yeah, and you have to be careful if you're Julianne here. A nose hit, or even if you only roll like a half rock or a rock, should make it should leave a pretty easy double for Dominique to score two.
Tied the game up.
Yeah, I'd be, you'd love to stick around and sit two, but I don't really see a way to get. Do you think you can get at that yellow with like a hack waiter if you're Dom? Because if not, throwing something down here and just losing the shooter is probably good enough.
I don't think so. Honestly, I think an easier way to maybe get at that yellow is to play the really long off the corner.
Which I'm not sure if she would be willing to do in that scenario. Probably just a draw for one. So definitely nothing wrong with being a little full, little extra weight. Try to play an aggressive roll and sit two, but call it on the safe side so that if anything, rolling out is more than okay. This one maybe a little tight out of the hand. Now they seem to like it.
Looks like they're gonna get a little bit of a roll. Roll just out of the rings there.
Yeah, and that's a great outcome there by Team Fortin. I don't think you can chase that yellow enough to tap it.
You see Dom looking at thin off that one on the side of the 12. I don't think that's there.
Well, I think it's there, but that's so difficult. Unless you're like, I guess you're saying there might not even be enough space past that red stone.
Yeah, it doesn't. Trying to look, it does not look like there is.
Okay. So
Dom looking at that same draw.
Well, that is less ice than she just took.
I think she's hoping to give herself maybe a little better chance at backing if she needs it.
Okay.
So we've just seen her coming in a little heavy on those draws.
Yeah. You guys like the ice?
Pretty close to
We're throwing with
maybe just
one,
less than a
we're gonna try and
foot
push it out
less
of 8
ice
foot.
than she
It
just
needs
took
to be
on
like
that
not
first
touching
one.
the 8 foot for us
So
to get to. And then my tolerance is I'm light.
definitely
and I just
there's
get
the
my
idea
line.
there, maybe trying to give her the chance of having a little bit of backing, unless she's trying to make the top for two, but I just don't see it. You also have to be aware of that. You take that little less ice to give yourself the backing, but now you're throwing down a slightly different path. Speed could be different.
Gotta make sure that this one can get there for the one.
Yes, hard!
Starting to yell hard for line.
Hard, Scotia! Hard!
Scotia Maltman working really hard to keep this one moving straight.
Hard, you got it, hard!
Line looks really, really close.
Hard! Hard, hard, hard!
Looks like even if they get the rub, it will be good to get their one.
Yeah, and even if they got that by, not sure it had the weight to push it out to sit two, but does roll into the 4 foot, so Dominique Vivier scoring one. She will be down one without the hammer when we come back after this quick commercial break for this.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on,
every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
I don't hate that.
So like a 2 or a 3? Oh, let's do 3. Yeah, let's do 3. So we can use it.
Okay. I think closer to 16-5. I think. What was Dom's last one? Oh. What was Dom's last one? Okay. I think it's 16-5.
3. 2's okay.
And we pick up here at the start of the 7th end. Clara Dissanayaka throwing the lead stones for Team Vivier. And quite a bit of lost momentum here if you're Team Vivier. They're going to really need to put together 2 good ends here. Tori giving up that 3, really should have been 4 in that 5th end, but then, not able to bounce back, albeit on a fantastic shot by Team Fortin with that hit and roll earlier in the end. Really set up that entire force, but they weren't able to come up with a couple freezes that could have given them the opportunity to come back with a 2. Instead, they end up forced, and now you're down 1 without. Starting to be a scary situation.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Team Vivier was kind of owning the first 4 ends there for a bit, and now they're struggling to get it back. I think if I was Team Vivier, you really have to focus on your rock placement and maybe bringing some of those hit weights down, make it a little bit more manageable. We've also seen some unfortunate errors with Scotia's rocks. I think trying to nail down what's been happening with those might be really important and crucial to helping get the game back on track for Team Vivier.
Yeah, that's absolutely been the key matchup of the game so far. Just in those last couple ends, I mean, Scotia looked like she was playing very well in the first half of the game, but just those last couple ends, not sure if what's going on with her rocks, but quite a few overcurls. Something that they're going to need to adjust here in the last 2. Clara, a kinesiology student at McMaster University in her 3rd year. Pretty good draw there by Clara on her 2nd stone. Possibly a touch more weight slipping just behind the tee line though. Sweepers really working on this one, need to get it past that red guard. Doesn't look like they're going to. Does spin the shooter into the rings though, so keep an eye on that yellow if things start to clear out later in the end.
Don't hate this if you're Team Vivier, but I also don't hate throwing up another guard.
Yeah, I'm not really, I love the guard a lot more. Not a huge fan of the hit and roll or the draw. I was almost thinking, I mean, that red stone side of the 4-foot, if you're throwing up a guard on it, you'd love to be a little bit more in front of it, but I would almost even consider throwing a high center guard. Even if it leaves that red exposed, you have that stagger tight of the rings that you can hide behind later. That red stone on the side is not necessarily going to be your steal opportunity. Them playing into the rings this early just...
You know they're playing the double curl
yes,
on their
yeah.
next, right? So maybe throwing one more guard.
Curl! 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 Curl!
And plus with that angle, that yellow's going to be coming back into the rings, so could get a lot of stuff moving if this isn't placed deep enough.
Go, go, go! Keep going, keep going. Okay, whoa, 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 leave it, leave it. Okay. 16-8.
And you can see what I mean now. That red-yellow combination seems to go right into that red stone that was just thrown. All these rocks could be moving here on this one. Megan LaFrance. Chance to open things up.
little bit unfortunate there with that one, only getting the single peel. Really was looking for that double peel.
Yeah, not what you wanted to see. There was that's probably about the easiest chance you're gonna get at a double peel. So Team Vivier is gonna throw these other guards a little bit higher, and you're gonna be forced now to make tougher shots than that to open this up.
Now that out turn draw still very there to the button. So not sure when, but we could maybe see Team Fortin change of gears and choose to play that draw instead, anywhere in front of the T line, kind of in that draw line, and you got to be a little nervous for that back, or for that red on the back four.
Brooklyn, go, 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 hard, straight,
Just getting a tick and rub off that red one.
I got a 16-5.
Was the call the guard there, Matt? Do you know?
I thought I saw her signal a guard. Might have been a pretty early plan B call, though. I don't really imagine that I don't see the draw being something that you'd want to play this early in the end.
That did not feel as much as my other one. Did it look like?
Going to get a lot of red moving here. Does remove 2 of the red stones and opens up all of those rocks. A much better situation now for Team Fortin here in the 7th.
Yeah, I think you got to start guarding here now if you're Team Vivier. Down 1, you do probably need to go for that steal, but Max giving up 1. So don't mind this hit call, but you're just.
Are we throwing 10?
Team Fortin is just going to try and make a double back, and then you're going to be hard pressed to get something generated.
Really hard.
Yep, really hard to bring it out. You got to bring it out.
Hard.
You have to bring it out hard. Other side of the rock. You're going to jam. Hard.
Have handshakes over there.
Yep. Hard.
This one's over curling, but looks like it's going to be okay. Over on sheet 1, it was a U18 women's matchup. Team McClellan finishing off with a 9-2 win, so they will move on past Team Wilson to the U18 Women's Championship match. Of course, we talked about that trip to Switzerland on the line for the U21s, but a pretty good prize for the U18s as well, on top of any monetary winnings here at this event. The champions of the U18 Run Back Championship will be provided custom curling uniforms by Run Back Curling Supplies, as well as free entry into the U21 event of the Canadian Junior Cup next year. So an important stepping stone on the way to possibly playing for their own chance to go on that trip to Switzerland in the future.
Absolutely.
We also had handshakes on sheet 5 as Team Benning finishes off the game with a 7-2 victory over Team McTavish, so they'll move on to the U18 Boys Championship Final. The double just missed there by Emile Lafrance. And suddenly, Dominique seems to be trying to solve her problems with these draws into the rings, but you know, I just think a guard could be very good for you. You play that draw, there is a very short run double, so she's decided instead to play this hit and roll, which accomplishes the same thing if it's made, but removes 1 of the yellow stones at least.
Yeah, this being a little bit more of a defensive call, knowing that she can only give up a max 1 here in the 7th.
Let's do less weight. Let's do 10.
2 in the last to tie, to go to an extra end, or 3 to win.
Yeah, if this was me, I'd be playing a little bit more aggressive in this end, but not to say that I actually think what they're doing is okay, so long as they discussed it beforehand. If the team decision was to, play this end for the force and then try to go for 2 or 3 in the 8th, then absolutely this is the way to go about it.
Curl, hard.
This one's probably going to roll a little too far here, so
roll it.
Okay, going to stop right in the middle of that hole, but at a spot where I don't think that double is necessarily there. We would need an overhead look to see that.
I don't think it, well, I guess it could be. It's a little thinner than you'd like to see on a double of this kind. I think it's probably about a quarter rock. And it's difficult to hold the shooter, but it is definitely there. I think the hit and roll on top, though, also does the job.
I was just thinking, if Team Fortin wins this game and face off in the final against Team Tarek, this would be the first time that a Canadian out-of-province team, so a team not from Ontario, won this event.
Yeah, not in recent memory, at least since the rebranding to the Canadian Junior Cup. I mean, this event has been going on for close to 44 years. Possible it happened sometime well in the past, but definitely not in recent memory. We have had some international teams win this event before. The Swiss team won the women's event 2 years ago, Isabelle Einspieler from Switzerland, and last year was the team from the United States who took home the championship on the men's side. Even back in the day, I believe Silvana Tiranzoni, a former champion of this event out of Switzerland. That hit and roll not quite made as well as they would have liked, so Dominique, the chance to hit and stay here. Important to stick around in the rings because that top yellow stone is just touching the 12-foot.
Yeah, definitely need to count two.
Clean. Yep. Hard, Scosh. Hard.
This one's starting to move
Hard.
on.
Really gotta go
Hard.
Hard.
Scotia working really hard to keep it straight.
Sit.
Nice sweep there by Scotia. Think it's enough to sit two.
Good. Yeah, felt like it. Yeah, good. Thanks. Yeah.
Mais c'est parce que si on fait le freeze, c'est au pire, tu joues sur ça.
Ouais.
C'est pas mieux. Si on est freeze, on est check. Okay, you got it. Ouais, ben c'est ça que je pense.
Switching gears here, playing this freeze. You do have some space to tap back if the line is good. Important that you just stay on top of this red stone.
Need to make sure that you put this one in a good spot. If it ever comes up short and you stagger something, you're gonna be in a little bit of trouble.
What could be a pretty important shot here in the progression of this match. Julianne Fortin in her first here in the 7th. Line seems to be close if the weight's good.
We are going to see a little rub off that one rock.
Yeah, and just miscommunication there between the line caller and the sweepers. You heard them calling straight quite a bit there before the sweepers actually switched back, and they had to go for weight but ended up carving that right onto that yellow stone in the top of the 12-foot.
It looks like we have handshakes on sheet 2 between Team Tremblay and Team McDonald. Team McDonald, I believe, coming out with the win by the looks on their faces, knowing that they've made it to the final.
Yeah, for sure. They were up 6-4, and I was watching those last couple shots come down, and Team Tremblay just needing to steal 2 in the 8th, but they weren't quite able to get rocks where they needed to. So Team McDonald moves on to the U21 Men's Championship Final. They'll await the winner of Team McDougall and Team Nichols. They look to be playing in the 7th over there. Team Nichols continues to be up 5
to 1.
5 to 1. Okay.
Yeah. That 6 is hiding behind a post,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I can't see it from where I'm sitting. So Team McDougall down 4 without the hammer in 7.
Clean. Yep. Hard. Pull. Okay.
Nice shot there by Dawn,
So,
but still
Alright.
lying 2, it looks like.
so I had no idea what was happening.
Well,
Clear
Like-
path to the 4 foot, so I think if you're
I
team
don't know.
410, you're looking
You're
at
getting anything.
one of those run backs.
No. I was looking up and I was like,
well, not sure. Just looking at the overhead here, if that yellow is third shot, really, I don't hate just eliminating this red stone here. You're not going to score, but you're going to move on to the 8th end, tied with. The only other reasonable shot that I'm looking at is there's a yellow guard up here just on the left side of the center line, playing a tap on that. Try to get it to the button, but as long as you tap it into the full rings, you cut down those reds. Running back this, or pushing back this yellow, I was a little wary of because your shooter's not going to be in the ring, so if you ever happen to push it through or, you know, something silly happens, you over curl push the red and things could be really bad. But with that kind of ice, looks like they're maybe just throwing a heavy draw. Same thing that I was thinking, just enough to tap it into the 4 foot. If it's a little light, that's okay.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the safer option to throw with this shot. Like, if you're looking at promoting that specific yellow.
Yeah, I just think with the difficulty of this yellow shot to score as is, and always the possibility that, you know, you have a pick or something weird happens, things could go really wrong. I thought we'd see them just hit that back one and
Now, sweeper's kind of backing right off.
yeah, tons of weight, needs to make contact with this yellow stone to avoid a steal of 2. They just will. Moves that yellow into the 12-foot, rolls into the 1 in the back. So that's what I was sort of talking about, Tori. A little scary there, but able to get a good enough outcome there. Gives up a steal of 1, but able to retain the hammer. Now going into the 8th end, we have a tie game, 5-5 after.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
So we come back to the 8th and likely final end here of this U21 women's semifinal. We did have some handshakes in between ends there over on sheet 6 as Team Jewel holds on to their strong lead and finishes off a 7-2 victory over Team Genyaga. So Team Jewel progresses into the championship final of the U18 division, where they will face off against Team Benning, who was able to defeat Team McTavish in their semifinal. Just a reminder, first rocks of the championship and consolation finals kick off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Clara's rock sitting just a few inches out of the house here.
Holy shit.
So a nice and tight guard.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's about as good a start as you can ask for out of Clara.
I feel like I got this, guys. Yeah, I was a little scared too. I was like, chemically
I'd love to see this yellow stone. Half to full 4 foot. Wouldn't want to see it much further than biting the button. shot is more about weight than the line. Do not want to put this back button.
It will dig.
Yeah, that was looking scary for a second, but looked like it put the brakes on at the top of the 12-foot and dug in enough. Personally speaking, I think that's still maybe a half rock deeper than ideally you'd like to see, but a great start either way.
Right now,
well,
Matt.
you got to find. That's what we're here for. We got to find something to moan about, Tori.
Scotia and Brooklyn working hard on this one to get it over. Clara would hate to hog a second rock here in this game.
No, this one is not looking good. It will come up short. So second hog stoned there by Clara.
On peut mettre une sur le côté.
Côté? Ouais.
I'm thinking that. Vous allez essayer ça? Parce que
Ben.
si je suis back, tu tombes, c'est pas
Parce
bon.
que si on est là, puis on se donne
Not a fan of drawing to the wings
J'aime
personally.
ça.
If you were down one and you needed that second point, then that certainly can be useful. But I like if you're confident, just throw the same shot. Throw the same freeze down onto the yellow. If you can freeze it onto the nose, it's a great outcome. The shot over on the side of the rings, I guess the thought is that, if you get into a situation later on in the end where you have to play a hit, maybe that yellow one on the side is second shot and you can just, hit and roll out rather than needing to hit and stay. But this shot does nothing to make your opponent's shot more difficult.
On est backé, on est dans le pit.
And it looking like it's pretty heavy coming down the ice here.
Is it true?
Ça y va tout seul.
Vas-y.
Peut-être genre back 12.
Non, à défense. C'est bon, mec.
Non.
C'est bon, mec. Sit. Sit.
So Dom will just sweep that one out the back. It will remain in play on the back line, but not much gained out of that throw.
If anything, where it stopped, you're looking at a potential jam rock.
Yeah, and that was the other reason why I'm never really a fan of drawing the wings when you know exactly how this eighth end is going to play out. As soon as you can, you're walking up to peel as many guards as possible. And when you throw some rocks over on the sides like that, you take away basically one of your peel chances. You don't haven't completely lost the ability to throw the outturn peel, but now every time you do, you always have to be aware of that jam rock at the back.
That's awful.
Scotia Maltman trying to throw the high guard and just being a little bit heavy here.
I think we saw a similar thing from her in the last end too. I can't remember if the call was actually the guard, but ended up slipping twice into the rings on her shots.
Just a slide or the release?
Hard!
Yep!
Oh.
Hard! Hard, man!
Whoa, whoa!
Big rules.
So one at the back.
Is going to catch it, but will roll out.
On va plus faire le double peel.
So everything cleared out now, and I like the thought by them to just peel out that one red stone. It was a little difficult to make a double peel, and the situation as is not very good for Team Vivier. They still have a lot of work to do in order to sit shot after their last.
Line's good.
Too early in the end, though, to try and do anything in the rings. You just continue to toss up these guards.
Okay, curl then. Curl.
Then you're going to just have to try something
curl.
on your last.
Hard curl. Hard, you got it. Hard, you're getting there. Hard.
Really gotta move it hard.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, good sweep. Okay, 16-8.
That one's slipping deep again for Scotia. Would have liked that about halfway.
Yeah.
Y a-tu un espace?
Ouais.
C'est quoi, moitié? Moitié? Ou tu veux juste la
C'est quoi, moi,
pile?
3 pieds, Meg?
Quoi?
Je sais pas c'est quoi 3 pieds. Genre ça.
Non, non, mais tu veux juste la pile?
Oui, oui.
OK. Pourquoi on essaie pas le double peel de même? Parce que toi.
C'est simple peel, c'est bon.
Tu vas
Ideally, you'd love to get both here. It's certainly, well, fairly risk-free. The only way you get a jam is by nosing it. So as long as you make sure you're making the one peel, take a good go at it. They think they're close, they'll get one, get two. Well done there for Megan LaFrance, second of this team. Clears up the rings and now nowhere to hide.
I think we're going to see this guard being thrown up by Team Vivier a couple more times.
Yeah, you have to. Just, you're hoping for some kind of flash by your opponents that might leave the guard up there that you can use. We'll see over the next number of shots, you know, guard, peel, and then when do you make a play? I think your only chance is probably to wait right until Dominique's last of the end, where you can come down into the rings, maybe tap that yellow stone to the back of the forefoot for a possible jam opportunity to set shot.
Okay. Okay, good. 18-7. Good judge.
So taking a look over, we have handshakes on sheet 3 as Team Gallardo holds on for a comeback victory over the OCC Academy team after finding herself down 3-0 after 2 ends. Claws back for a 7-5 victory. So Team Gallardo will move on and face, I believe, Team McClelland in the U18 Girls Championship Final.
I think so. Okay. Yeah, well, I think we have to do it on balance.
So only 2 games remaining out here across the 8 sheets. Of course, our feature that we are watching here. Over on sheet 7, the men's semi-final matchup between Team Nichols and Team McDougall looks to be Team Nichols still with a 5-2 advantage with the hammer and 8. Got a couple guards up over there. McDougall maybe having a couple stones hidden around, so we'll keep you updated on how things are going there. As here, another hogged rock by Team Vivier and Brooklyn Idison. And if your Team Fortin now, Tori, I mean, I'm kind of seeing just peel out your own, yeah. I don't really think there's anywhere you can go that's going to that's going to improve your position enough where it's worth giving Team Vivier more rocks to play with.
Yeah, you can see them motioning. Do we take out our own right now? Like questioning, and I saw 2 of the girls motion that.
So Brennan LaFrance will come out and have a conversation with his team. We'll tune in to listen.
Non, faut être parfait. Je l'aime pas.
Parce que s'ils viennent là, s'ils viennent là, non, parce que c'est bien trop, genre, on est là, puis... Non, je pense que c'est blast.
Ça peut faire avoir moitié grave.
Ça fait trop de jeu pour rien.
Ça, c'est faire ça.
Ouais. C'est un peu straightforward.
C'est-tu la blastée? C'est-tu la blastée?
Puis on frappe, puis on roule dehors, on a quoi? T'sais, moi, j'aime mieux mettre un deuxième dans la maison, puis après ça, si elle frappe là, comme dit, peut-être elle va rouler, elle va essayer de faire de quoi?
Tu vas être haut ou tu vas être bas?
Ben, moi, je pense que tu peux comme égal. Elle a 2 shots qui restent.
J'aimerais mieux haut que...
Ça, c'est Amy, ça?
Ouais. La dernière est Amy.
Égal, plus large possible, j'imagine.
Genre là.
Il faut être dans la maison, là. Parce qu'on ne veut pas être trop haut parce que ça va frapper et rouler. Même back, j'aille pas.
Parce qu'elle, après, elle fait ça. Là.
Non, parce que ça, t'as ça.
C'est ça, J, faut pas être là.
Ouais, OK, fait que nous, on est là.
Moi, je veux juste voir dans la maison si on peut rouler dehors. Avec le frappe dans les choses.
Tu presses le timer?
Oui.
OK. Là.
Mais on veut pas bas non plus. Égal. Là. Ben même là, elle frappera pas. Elle frappe pas, c'est sûr. Okay. Ben on sait pas. Ben pourquoi qu'elle frapperait? Pourquoi elle fera à deux, tu sais?
Hey, genre, I'm gonna put a hit.
Mais
On a déjà eu une équipe que je voulais hit.
Hey, cleanez-le tout le long.
C'était quoi?
mais,
C'était. On était up
ouais,
1,
non,
je pense. Puis elle jouait le hit.
First thing Brennan LaFrance said as he came out and started talking with his team that he liked sitting second shot in the rings. I actually understood that one, Tori. Something clicked in the brain there. I'm not exactly sure what, but deciding to draw a second one out to the wings, I don't hate the idea. The thought being that you know Team Vivier is going to come down to that Yellowstone on the button, probably tap it back, try to, you know, create a jam possibility. Looks like this one's going to slip all the way through, but I think the idea that they had was that if Dominique is successful in doing that, then you could just throw peel, blast everything out, and you might be able to score with your winning shot over on the side. That shot doesn't really necessarily change the situation at all, though. It does allow Dom to come down. If she's able to make a good tap, could make things tricky here. But you're always going to have what I would call a pretty makeable shot to win this game, I think.
Drag him, so. You can't drag him? Okay.
Nah.
Okay, it should be really close then.
Yeah, you can definitely be a bit more here.
Yeah.
Got it.
Over in the other men's semifinal, it looks like Team McDougall down by 3 without the hammer, able to sit 3 after throwing their last stone, but I don't see any guards in play over there, so looks to be a wide open takeout
Always straight.
for the fourth rock thrower, Tyler McTavish, to send Team Nichols into the final.
Hard straight.
Looking at Dominique Vivier's first rock
Hard
here.
straight.
Yep, gotta stay on it. Yep. I think just a little bit of a misline call there at the end.
Yeah.
Not really.
Well, it was maybe
saying to go for line and instead over curling a little bit.
Absolutely. I think it was maybe a touch lighter than they wanted, but within the realm of trying to get something beneficial out of that throw. Certainly would have liked that to at least stay on the nose. And looking over at sheet 7, the open takeout was made by Tyler McTavish, so Owen Nichols with I believe it ended up as a steal of 2 there at the end, but doesn't matter. It's a 5-4 victory officially for Team Nichols as they move on to the championship final where they will take on Jordan McDonald of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And oh no, Tori, this hit looks to be well wide out of the hand.
This is a gift.
And that Yellowstone jams at the back but doesn't stay in the ring. So out of nowhere, Dominique Vivier is going to have the opportunity to toss up a guard on this stone in the forefoot. And if it's made, oh my goodness, it's going to be a cold draw to the button for Team Fortin to put themselves into the final.
That.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect spot is a 3. Show them.
If you're Julian, you have to put that behind you very quickly. Of course, you're going to be frustrated. Anybody would be after that first throw, but you still have a chance to win this game. Start preparing yourself for that draw to the button. Talk to your sweepers. Discuss what the weight is going to be, what kind of speed you're going to need to see to give yourself the best chance to make it. But this guard still needs to be made, Tori, and we've seen these be a little tricky throughout the weekend.
Saw them debating exactly where to put it, whether or not to bring it into the house or not, and I think you're just looking to throw a tight 3 guard here.
Yeah, if it happens to just bite the rings, that's okay, but no reason to come in too deep and give Team Fortin some options. This is all a line shot now.
Keep looking, guys. Keep looking.
Yeah, don't want to kill the line.
Always has to curl. Make sure. Always curl. Curl.
There's the call for curl from Brooklyn Idison.
Really gotta move it. Stay close.
Looks like it has a chance. This one's going to be good.
Curl. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Really nice shot there by Dom under pressure. It looks to have gotten to cover all of it.
17-2.
Yeah, well, we made it as perfect as we could.
Team Fortin going to call a timeout. I think it has to be just a cold draw to the button. I don't see that tap.
No, I was gonna, yeah. But you heard me talking.
I did, and I was like, wait, what is she saying?
It was a great long call by Brooklyn.
C'est jamais ça, on la voit pas.
Moi, je pense que c'est ça. OK.
Hey, si on la clip de même, là, c'est rien, là.
C'est le drap.
Faut y aller fort pour qu'elle traverse
Yeah,
la
if
maison.
you're Team Fortin, I think you just gotta
On va quand même rester là.
buckle up and get ready to throw that draw to the side of the button.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I mean. You had to be thinking that this draw is going to be the call.
Ben là,
As soon as you miss that peel, we'll listen into what Brendan has to say.
I don't think the that tap that they keep motioning is there behind that card. I don't think the finish is that strong.
No, it's not.
The tap weight that you would need to throw.
And this is a wide open draw. You don't need to play it close to that red stone. That red stone is just full four, so you can draw the side of the 4-foot, and as long as you get anything better than full, you're good. And now it looks like they've gone to it, so the broom will come down.
Crie-moi le poids. Elle me tombe les fait. De même. OK, full four. OK, let's do it.
And Julianne Fortin will have a cold draw to the T-line side of the 4-foot for the victory to send her team into the championship match. And I'm trying to think, Tori, of when the last time she threw a draw would have been. There was that tap attempt in the last end that was well heavy.
Yeah, we've thrown a lot of soft weight hits, but we haven't thrown very many draws here. If you're a Team Fortin. Here we go, Matt.
Final stone here in the 8th.
Viens, Belle.
The win.
Whoa. Whoa. Don't. Whoa.
Struck.
Hey, où?
Looking like it's a little heavy right now. Sweeper's backing off, but Kinsey trying to come down.
Yeah, this isn't going to need any help, that's for sure. Now Brooklyn Idison coming out to sweep the last little bit, and this will slip deep. So in an end that looked like there was absolutely no chance, Team Vivier finds a way to pull victory from the jaws of defeat. And this is going to be a tough one to swallow for the team out of Quebec, but it is official, as it is a steal of one for Dominique Vivier for a 6-5 victory, which will put her team into the championship match. We're going to take the time just to go over all of our championship matchups here at the World Financial Group Canadian Junior Cup, starting off with the U18 boys. Team Benning facing off against Team Jewel. On the girls' side, it is Team McClelland facing off against Team Gallardo. Moving up to the U21 division now, looking at the men's playoff bracket, Team Nichols and Team McDonald with convincing wins in their semifinals. They move on and will face each other in the championship match. And finally, on the women's side, as we just saw, Team Vivier stealing their way to the final game. They will face the number 1 seed. So we'll actually have number 1 versus number 2 in the women's final. Team Tarek of Winnipeg, Manitoba will face off against Team Vivier of the Navin Curling Club just outside of Ottawa. From myself and Tori Zummelink up here in the broadcast booth, we thank you all for joining us here on this Championship Monday. Draw 14, the championship finals where everything will be decided, kicks off at 8:30